Duke Nukem Forever. Have you heard of it? Of course you have. Everybody has. It's pretty famous. Well, Duke sure is, especially if you grew up in the 90s. All the gamers back then wanted to be Duke, and all the girls wanted to be with Duke. At least the ones programmed to think that. I didn't really grow up in the 90s. Sure, I was born in 96, but that doesn't really count. I did, however, know about Mr. Nukem. He was a part of that group of classic shooters that paved the path for all first-person shooters to come. And of course, I knew about the fabled Duke Nukem Forever game that released in 1998. I mean 2001. I mean 2006. Yeah, Duke was stuck in development hell for quite some time. That's actually what it's mostly known for. But we're not here to talk about that. Plenty of people have covered that before, and frankly, if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably already knew about its shaky development. Nope, we're here to actually play the game, or at least whatever they released back when they were all said and done. That's right, I play Duke Nukem Forever, so you don't have to. Spoiler alert? Yeah, it's not that great. Weirdly enough, I thought it was gonna be far worse than it actually was. I'd been reversed hyped over all these years thinking that it would just be a terribly buggy mess, but in all reality, it's a playable game. It ain't fun, but you can in fact play it. I actually think I enjoyed my time with this more than I did with Crysis. Crysis is the better game, but Duke was strangely more fun. Let's get into it. Right from the start, the game set its tone of piss and shit by Duke pissing and throwing shit around everywhere. Okay, I was the one throwing the shit, but that's what I remember hearing about the game when it first came out, and so my monkey brain said, haha, I want to do it too. I walked out of the bathroom and came up with a game plan that everybody agreed with, and we went out and shot some big alien until it died. The camera then zooms out and does the whole thing where you're playing the game within a game, and hey, look at that! Duke's actually the one playing. And he's getting a BJ from Two Hot Blondes. He says that it was good, but I don't really think he was talking about the game. Regardless, I sure as hell didn't have the same experience that he did. Moving forward, before the game really gets going, you get to explore a couple areas, and at this point, I got some heavy Half-Life flashbacks. In fact, a lot of this game really seemed to be inspired by Half-Life. I bought some snacks, saw a guy pass out, punched a guy, and signed an autograph for a kid. Yep, that's a great signature. Just after all that, the aliens show up and ruin everybody's day. The president told me not to fight the aliens, but he was kind of a dick, and they shot first, so I mean, yeah, I fought them. And I kept fighting them too, and not just them, but I had to fight off the women too. Literally every single female has an orgasm the moment that they see Duke. And it's, yeah. I don't...
Thank you. I'll go down with you anytime.
It only gets worse too. You step on this shrink pad and become a mini version of Duke, and the ladies I met while being in mini mode all wanted to put Duke in a special place.
I know right where I'd stick him.
Like, the joke was already low-hanging fruit, but then they had the audacity to make it twice. Side note, the mini Duke sections were actually pretty neat. I thought they were interesting and had some unique mechanics. Probably the best parts of the whole game, if I'm being honest. I kept on fighting my way through the casino area and came across some trip mines. This is where I discovered probably the worst thing about the game. The aiming reticle is not where your bullets go. You actually shoot a little bit higher and to the left of where the reticle is. I was speechless. Honestly, I didn't expect that to be an issue. I figured I'd come across some strange things in the game, but up until that point, the game was fine. It wasn't very fun, but it worked fine. My mind was just blown, and looking back, it all started to make sense. I remembered loads of times prior that I kept missing shots for no reason, but now I knew why. Even now, I'm still surprised that this was even an issue, especially because as I begrudgingly continued, there really wasn't many issues going forward. Speeding up a bit now because really from here till about halfway, it's all so much the same. Go to a new place, fight the aliens, and keep going. I met Ripoff Marcus Phoenix, saw Master Chief's armor, watched a dude get blown away literally in front of me right after putting up the biggest death flag I'd ever seen.
Damn it, Leroy.
Fought a bunch more monsters, some small and some big, and so on. Going through each level isn't really terrible, but whenever there's an on-rails section, it's really bad. You are stuck in a bland area moving at like 2 miles an hour with little to no cover. At least they had the decency to give you an unlimited ammo supply during these sections. I still hated them though. Any auto-scroller typically in any game I hate, but this one was especially rough. One of the game's mechanics is an execution that will heal your health to full. If you see one of those pig guys on their knees, you can end them and get all nice and healed up. Very much so in the same vein as glory kills in Doom 2016. Not quite the same in speed or functionality, but still interesting to note that Duke did it before Doom. I basically forgot that this was even a feature though, because I took about a 4-month break from the game. What? I was like halfway through, so it felt like it was deserved. It's not my fault that 1 hour of this game feels like 7. When I came back, I was surprised to be reminded that the physics engine of the game is good? Can I even say that? Sometimes while playing the game, I forgot I was playing Duke Nukem Forever and was pleasantly surprised that some of the things were made with care. Those moments are few and far between, and it doesn't take long for me to come to my senses, but when you look past the mess, you can find good game mechanics. Ladders are not one of those good game mechanics. It's sorta a running thing in games, especially during the 2000s, that ladders are just weird. In Halo, you keep your gun out. Gears of War makes it almost like a cutscene. Duke Nukem Forever goes with that cutscene-like route, but does it in a really odd way. You press a button to get on the ladder, and then you're like locked into this specific animation until you're up and standing straight. It makes for some really odd movements that are way stranger than they actually look. Remember when I said this game has similarities to Half-Life? Well, they didn't stop with the intro. It honestly feels sometimes like they used the original Half-Life as a template for Duke. You fight in some human areas, and then you take the fight to the aliens. Hell, later on you even go to a desert area. It's not copied one for one, but the inspiration is completely obvious.
A crowbar would come in handy right about now.
During these take the fight to the alien sections, I was once again pleasantly surprised to find a good video game. The atmosphere is totally unique compared to the rest of the game. The puzzles are surprisingly good and the tension can be high. But then Duke fingered the anus door and I remembered what I was playing.
Ooh, tight fit.
Duke Nukem just has to be this big badass guy that always gets the ladies. Look, I'm fine with that. I'm even okay with the potty jokes. I like myself a good stupid pee-pee poo-poo joke from time to time. I was once a 14-year-old boy, so I get the humor along with just about everybody else. But then Duke takes it to another level of bad, and definitely not the good bad. It just makes me cringe so hard when there'd be dialogue that's just so stupid. Or there was something added to the game just for the sake of haha boobs or funny poo-poo.
Duke, what's happening to us?
Looks like you're...
Like, it's just a damn shame when the whole level is exciting, the tensions are high, the setting is great, and then you finish the level with a 3-boobed alien queen. Sandwiched between that and the whole rest of the game, that in my opinion really has some good moments, is a strip club level. Yup, a whole level dedicated to getting a stripper to give you a lap dance. Don't get me wrong, I do like boobs, but I'm playing a first-person shooter. I want to shoot things, not be horny. The rest of the game is more of the same but done a bit better. It's too bad that the better half of the game is the one at the end. Most people didn't even make it past the first level, so they never got to see Duke Nukem Forever be an actually decent game. You have a mini Duke mission that's set in a burger joint, and I actually thought it was a lot of fun. Some runaway minecarts, a cool Wild West shootout scene, and then you finally arrive at the Hoover Dam, which apparently is where the aliens' portal is or something. The Hoover Dam levels aren't that great. They lost a lot of the charm that the last couple levels had, save for one very unique underwater level. On top of the dam, I fought a big monster that was puppy guarding the unlimited ammo, and going into the actual dam, there was a lot of pigmen, some mediocre puzzles, the worst on-rail section of the game, and a whole lot of darkness. The game's color palette isn't great to begin with, but it's so hard to see where you're even going in this place. The water level following is actually pretty neat though. You do basically all of the same things as the other levels, but underwater, which added to it tenfold. Honestly, I thought this level was way cool. You don't see too many underwater levels in shooters very often, so it was a breath of fresh air. It was around this time that I had realized that I hadn't experienced many bugs in the game. The game realized that too, and then decided that I better clip through the floor during the underwater boss fight, and I drowned. Duke Nukem Forever really loves reminding you that it's Duke Nukem Forever. We are finally at the end. I blew up the Hoover Dam and then fought another big monster similar to the one at the start of the game. That big monster also killed the president too, which was cool because he was a bit of a dick. After the big monster is dead, the government nukes the area and Duke doesn't make it out. Duke Nukem died in a nuke. A very fitting death, but a stupid end to a stupid game.
What kind of ending is that? I ain't dead. I'm coming back for more.
But maybe he isn't dead. I don't know, there's a DLC. I'm not gonna play it though, I'll just take Duke's word for it. This final line has made me start to question some things about the development of the game. When you beat the game, you unlock a timeline of the development along with a bunch of other things like trailers and dev pictures. At this point, I started to think that maybe the devs knew that the game was bad. They knew that after 12 years, it would never live up to the potential hype that had been built up. They also must have known that the better story would have been about the actual development of the game and not the game itself. I mean, when I saw that they had credits for quality assurance, I knew that that had to be the case. Hey everybody, thank you for watching my video on Duke Nukem Forever. I hope you guys have enjoyed all of that pain and suffering that I went through while playing through this game. I mean, okay, it's not that bad. It wasn't great. Not terrible, not bad. But anyway, thank you for watching, and if you liked it, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, leave a comment about what was a game that you played in your life that was just atrocious, really, really bad. Maybe it was Duke Nukem Forever, I don't know. Thank you again for watching, and as always, keep it rad.